George here. I've got John Paul on the line. Say hello.
What is up, guys? It's
Uh,
great to be here.
we got Matt on the line,
Hello.
and I think Pete is going to be on the line pretty shortly. So another day, another Kickstarter day on Chromancer. We are looking forward to giving away a whole lot of stuff. We expect to have a fairly reasonable crowd today watching us, so we're going to talk about the game, we're going to talk about the future of the game, we're going to talk about exactly what this project's all about, and what you can expect from it. And we hope that you guys will ask us questions in the chat so that we can respond to those things and just let you know where we're coming from. I have my website loaded up right here. For those of you that don't know the website, you should go visit it. There's a lot of great stuff, particularly down here where you see this little red hordling picture. There is what we call the workshop. If you click into here, you get a gallery of all the art that's going to happen on our game, along with a bunch of flavor text. That's a great place to start if you're an art lover. But let's actually start from the beginning instead of from the middle like I want to do. We're on Kickstarter. As you can see, we are a collectible card game, and we are looking for your support. You can see we've got just about 2 days left here, and we're still a few thousand short of the goal, so we hope that we'll make it. You guys should read this, and you should scroll down just a little bit here and see all these great updates that we've been making to the page in the last couple days, including these visual updates that will show you exactly what the game will look like when it's all 3D and isometric and awesome. And here's another update for you. Let me click over here. You can see that we've got all kinds of stretch goals that we added. Not to be overly ambitious, but we basically figure that if we manage to pass our goal by just a little bit, we should give everybody more prizes. So I hope that you will click into here and read this stuff. We've got new hero cards, all kinds of new unique things, and a bunch of new modes that we want to enable when we launch. So you can read all about that. If you're a little bit behind on the updates, one of the more interesting updates that we announced a couple days ago is that Mark Poole, one of the most famous artists in collectible card games history. He was the guy that painted a lot of the original artwork for Magic the Gathering. You can see right here, this is Counterspell and Birds of Paradise and some of those famous cards. He's actually on the project now, and he's doing a bunch of painting for us. He's going to do some of our card art, and some of the rewards tiers that we've added to the Kickstarter page include prints by Mark Poole, original prints that he will sign and we will send to you. So if you are at all interested in this industry, you want to get on these rewards. They're pretty great. So anyway, that's our updates. You can see we've got all the tiers laid out here for you, nice and simple. Nice little matrix here. Anyway, I'm going to pop back over to the game.
Yes, pop into the game, George.
We'll pop into the game. Thank you. I'm popping very actively. Can you hear me?
We figured that we'd have like we like the dynamic from the other day where we picked somebody from the crowd. So I think we're going to do that again. Have somebody
let's do that.
Challenge George.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're going to be doing some alpha demoing of our game Chromancer, which is a collectible card game coming this winter. And if you're in the chat right now and you're new, what you should do is you should follow the Twitch channel, and you should get yourself eligible by doing that for the free stuff that we're going to be giving out all over the next hour. We've got all kinds of great prizes, booster packs, promotional cards, all of which will be unlocked on your account when we launch this winter. The way that you find the keyword that you need in order to be eligible for prizes is you go visit our Kickstarter page, which is just, if you look down there at the bottom of the page. I'm not really pointing the right way. Let me see, sort of that way.
Good job, George.
Stupid mirror. This is kind of hard. There.
It's the other right.
It's the other right. Well, the thing is, never mind. So there's a Kickstarter link down there. You should go check that out and enter that word into the chat, and you will be eligible. And if you want to play against me, I might have a little bit of help from the team, but if you want to play against the devs right now, demo the game, say so into the chat, and if you can beat us, you will get a bunch of prizes. We may have a couple people already lined up to do that.
Wait, does everybody get prizes if we're beaten?
If we're beaten, we'll give prizes to everyone in the channel, yes, but we'll give the most prizes to the person that actually wins.
All right.
I think that's only fair. After
Also,
all, I want prizes.
Every time we get a new backer,
we also give out
away.
prizes.
Yes, every time we get a new Kickstarter backer, we will give out prizes. That is a good call, team.
And we're carefully monitoring that. Okay, get yourself to the page, check the question, answer the question, get in on the list. I will roll the dice very soon, and not many people have inputted the trivia answer into the chat yet.
Well, so what is it written at the top of our Kickstarter page? There's like a trivia question or something, and you just
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
have to
it's
answer.
where
Okay.
we talk about Kickstarter daily live
As it-
stream on Twitch.
As a hint, it might be the word that everyone else is typing in.
That's just being swarmed into the chat there.
It's just,
just might be.
Unless a goat just walked through everyone's room, it's probably goat.
Oh, Kenny D
I have no
asks,
idea. I know that's a
how
thing.
about when backers backs more? That's
Yeah,
also
When they
very
increase
nice.
their pledges. If there's a person that increases their pledge by $1 every 2 minutes, we might catch on to that. But other than that, yes.
All right, guys, we have
did just have
20. We have 20 people.
We
I'm
did
going to
just
roll
have
the
a backer.
dice.
We
Oh,
Okay.
we did.
What now?
We did just have an increase.
We did
Oh,
just have an
boom.
increase. Oh,
We
okay.
did.
Well, go
Fine.
ahead, give something out.
All right, I'll
Show
tell you what,
everybody
so,
how it's done.
look, I'm gonna roll the dice to see who the challenger
Yeah.
is.
In the
and
meantime,
then-
let's find a challenger so I can start a game up here and we can tell everybody
All
about this game.
right, Des Zach, if you're in the
Well, we need
in
the person
chat.
to come into the lobby in order to actually play against me, right?
I know, I'm getting there.
Well,
If you've play tested and you have an account,
I'm
Do
gonna have
you?
to enable that person. But
all right.
I'm going to scroll through some card art on the right of the screen here if you guys are interested. We've got such great art in this game that's coming in. That's why Mark Poole wants to join the project, actually, so that he can be part of it. Obviously, he's pretty good at what he does. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat, and we'll handle those. We'll get into a game really, really shortly here. Blood Dretch, that's a pretty ugly one. That's a good spell. Brush Blazer. So we've got mostly red and blue cards in our playtest right now, but this is a 12-color game. You can see that we've actually got our logo right here, this circle that has 12 little colors around it. One of the great things about this game is it's taken about 7 years to design, and we've really balanced our 12 colors really well. We have 12 colors that do different things, so it's like Magic's 5, but we have a lot more. I mean, I could just give you random examples, but the ones I tend to use is black is probably my favorite color because it plays invisibly to the opponent a lot of the time. You have things like purple that teleport. We have a guy in the chat that's a fan of that. The crimson color is undead. Creatures just emerge from your discard pile directly into play, things like that. So anyway, let's get a challenger here and I will start a game up. Actually, I could start an AI game up just to show people while we're finding a challenger.
All right. Well, we have a first winner for our booster pack. It's Esfaris.
Congrats!
Congrats, Esfaris.
That is an alpha booster pack. We run our game very much like a physical card game. Everything that we give you is part of a digital print run. Basically what that means is that if you hang on to that thing, it's going to become valuable pretty soon because there's only so many alpha booster packs that exist. We're not going to make more of them. So let's see.
That is correct,
We're
sir.
playing against the AI here. That's interesting.
Okay, so Desak can't play right now. I'm going to roll again. See who wants to be the Cephid. You're up, sir. You ready for a challenge? Let's see if he's up for it.
I could start a game up. I mean, I'm just playing against the AI here. So you guys can see if you're new to the game that the first thing you do when you play Chromancer is you lay down.
Oh, Cephid is up for it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
He's
So I
ready
should
to
stop
rock.
explaining what's going on?
No, you should. I'm just not sure if Cephid has. You've play tested before, right, Cephid?
yeah, I have to re-enable it. Just
Okay.
give me a second.
All right. Well, plug away, George.
I will.
Plug away.
And Matt,
No, I'm done.
what's going on with my right-hand clicks not cycling my mouse here?
Oh crap! Give me 1 second. Sorry about that.
George, I had a question in chat a little while ago. I saw it was somebody was asking just a very basic question. How is Chromancer different from other CCGs that I've played?
Well, it's a good.
That's a basic question. Might have a long answer though.
I'll try to make it a short answer. Look, this game is different from other games that you may have played. I'm actually going to quit this game against the AI and start up against the player.
Just hold off on that just a second.
Hold off on quitting the game?
No, on starting a new game.
Okay, I will. Look, Chromancer is unlike other card games. We're lifelong card game players. All the guys on this call, all the guys on the dev team, all the guys that are bringing you this game, we've played card games our whole life, and we love card games. And, you know, far be it for me to criticize. I wouldn't do that. We love the fact that there's all these great new card games coming out, but the fact of the matter is that you can describe most of them as Magic plus something, right? And that's not a criticism again, but you cannot describe Chromancer as Magic plus something. If you tried, it wouldn't make any sense. So again, I'm not going to name names, but I might say that there's some games that might say they're basically magic plus lanes where you're forced to block certain creatures, or magic plus evolving, or magic plus well, I guess some games are actually just magic, completely 100% magic. And again, I won't name names, but the point is that even though we love all those other games that are out there, and I hope you realize I'm kidding, we do love all those other games out there. We back them ourselves, we play them ourselves, but when you're a card game player, you really sort of look for new strategy a lot of the time, and Magic is great. We still play it, we still love it, but it has its own set of strategy. Chromancer is a game that has completely new strategy. It's totally different how you think about it. It plays a little bit like chess, and man, that's what's so exciting about it for us, is that we have this 12-color system, all these different deck types, all this different strategy, and I hope some of it will come through right now as I'm about to play this game. It's so different, so unique how you have to think about the game. So I hope that sort of baseline is the answer to the question. I mean, there's a lot of things that as a company we're doing differently. We're obviously an indie company, the way that we're presenting ourselves and launching our game. But anyway, the game itself is also very, very different. I don't know what just happened there. I guess the server got rebooted too. Okay.
Just had to fix something. It's good to go now.
All right. I will create an
So
open game.
is Cephid ready to go?
So we've got a bunch of players who are already on our forums who are doing beta stuff for us, and they've already created a bunch of decks. So I will choose a deck here. We also have a little running thing that if I should win with a deck that a player has created, that player will get a prize. So I think we will enforce that as well. Let's see. What do I want to play here? I will play... why don't I play red deck? That's easy to play. Devilish Despair. I don't know whose deck that is, but sounds good.
I think that's one of Milo's.
Okay. Milo is one of our early playtesters who actually challenged me yesterday. So let's use his deck. Oh man, I just love this art over here on the side. You can see it. And let me switch over here for a second to just tell you that if you guys, what you're seeing here is an alpha UI. It's an alpha art build. So we're really just trying to show you the mechanics of the game. We're trying to show you why it's unique, why it's so cool, why it's so different, why we're so excited about it. And the reason that we're on Kickstarter right now is to raise money, basically, to create really good UI and create really good art. You can see some of that art on the right-hand side of my screen right now. I'll click right here just to show you something else. That is basically the type of thing that we're going to end up with. Sort of a 3D isometric view of how everything looks. I don't know if you guys are catching that. And that's actually what we need to pay for in order to get this top-down 2D view to sort of end up looking like that. So there we go. My opponent just joined the game. So let's start playing. This is the first phase of the game. We're going to decide where the deck, where the discard pile, and where the pool of resources go. Basically, the point of Chromancer is to stop your opponent from playing the game. So rather than me just attacking my opponent, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to destroy his deck, destroy his discard pile, destroy his pool of resources by actually attacking him positionally on the board. So first thing I'm going to do is decide where those things go. Already the strategy here is completely different from anything you've ever played before.
Hey, George,
Yeah.
what's Cephid playing?
Gee, I don't know.
Milo wanted to know.
I don't know what deck he's playing. I guess he could type it right into the chat right here. Maybe I'll ask him, what deck are you playing?
You can type it into the Twitch chat as well.
He said he's I think he means that he's playing Namorids, but he said that he's playing Namoroids, which sounds like some kind of underwater
hashtag on Twitter. Namoroids. Namoroids
Right.
for the win.
Chromancer's latest product.
Exactly.
Interesting. Somebody was joking with us the other day about how this is all a bunch of drugs. I don't know what they were talking about. Namoroids. Does that sound like a disease more than anything else?
I don't know. I think it's. I think it sounds like some, like some kind of performance.
It sounds like
enhancer for
something you don't want to have.
Performance. Yes. It's a performance enhancer based at sea. No worries, buddy. It is your turn though, Seafeed. So shall we? As you can see, new players sometimes need to realize that it's their turn first. Hopefully we'll get through this game. There we go.
Oh, look, we have another backer. So guess what? It's time for another giveaway.
Is it time for another giveaway? Let's give something away.
It's absolutely time. I have updated a question on the Kickstarter page yet again. So go in, find the answer, put in the keyword.
Type it into Twitch. Get free stuff. All the alpha boosters we're giving away are limited edition. All the promo cards we're giving away are absolutely limited. I guess John Paul will decide what he wants to give away right now. We probably have a couple other prizes too, right? That we'll give away.
We do. I think actually, why don't we just start it off really smashing and give away a 1 month subscription? I like that.
Oh wow! Okay.
Just so people know, we are generous folks. Now, I did update the trivia question, so I updated it. You have to find the new answer, and it's typed in as one word. It's not 2 words. I know that's a bit of a hint, but
right.
So a lot of people getting it wrong at the moment.
Well, look. First of all, why don't you explain what 1 month subscription actually means to the game, and I will then explain what's happening in front of everybody on the screen.
That's a good point. I mean, look, we're at our core a free to play game, but we do have options for players that want to kind of get kind of a steady access to booster packs every month, stuff like that. So we will have a subscription service, if you will. It won't only give you access to a steady stream of cards every month. It will also kind of give you access to member-only type tournaments and such. Now, you'll see that this is a reward which is included in some of the reward tiers on our Kickstarter, but all of these things are completely tradable in our game. So, even if you already have this because you're a backer and you already have a 6 month membership or whatever the case may be, a 1 month membership is still useful because you can eventually trade it in the game for other stuff.
Yeah, you can trade membership. Yeah, I mean, I think that people should think about membership a little bit like a VIP status because you don't need it, but it gives you some nice bonuses and it gives you a constant stream of free booster packs, which is probably the best part.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Looks like some people are catching on to the answer.
Cool.
So,
look, guys, let me, while JP is figuring out who he's going to give the prize to, let me tell you what's happening on the screen in front of me. So the first thing that we do when we play Chromancer is we go through a setup phase. Sorry, this is taking a little bit of time just because it's CFeed's first game and because we're chatting. But the first thing you do is you decide where on the game board, you've got this big horizontal space, where you're going to put your deck, your discard pile, and your pool of resources. And those are literally the things that are going to govern my ability to play the game. And then as we play the game, my opponent's going to attack those things and try to destroy them. If he destroys them, I can't use them anymore. So it's important for me to figure out where I'm going to put them on the board and how to defend them and all that kind of stuff. So right here, you see in the middle space, I have my castle, which is my deck of cards. Here on the left, I have my discard pile, which is my pool, my graveyard. And over here is my pool of resources, which is my bank. So he literally can move creatures to near these spots and attack them in order to either mill cards out of my deck or mill cards out of play altogether, out of my discard pile, or steal my income if he's over at my bank. And if he should destroy any of these things, I'll lose the ability to use them at all. So if he destroys my deck, I won't be able to draw cards the rest of the game. If he destroys my bank, I won't be able to save resources the rest of the game. If he destroys my discard pile, basically every card that I use up, like a spell or whatever, is going to leave play forever. So you really, when you play Chromancer, you not only have to figure out how to defend all these things appropriately, you also want a deck build so that you're not totally reliant on one thing or another, or if you are, that you're not reliant on other things that you can then sort of give up and not defend. So there's so much strategy that goes into how you build your deck as well as how you play it. So let's see. Looks like CFeed has a whole bunch of income here. These field cards represent 1 income each, but they also help define the game board. So he's sort of using cards, which he does deck build into his deck. He's placing those on his turn. He can place as many as he wants on the game board in order to define the play area. He's going to move creatures across on top of those things. Now, he doesn't have to move creatures on top of those things. He can move them into these void areas here, but then he's going to, they're going to lose life as he does that. In the meantime, though, he's basically gotten a whole bunch of income because he's got 6 of these things. We started with 3 each, of course, when we set up. So he's already outstripping me in terms of income. So I'm going to draw a little bit here. One of the cool things about Chromancer is there's very little rigidity to the game. You can do almost anything you can do as an instant, and you can do it pretty much anytime you want. So I can move my creatures around, I can draw cards, I can discard cards, I can burn cards, which means I get rid of them permanently from the game out of my hand and I get free money for it. And you can do that as an instant, and I can do it an unlimited number of times, excuse me. So that means I can draw as many cards as I want during my turn. Guys, interrupt me if there are questions that are pending.
No.
They want more stuff.
People want more stuff. They want less George talking and more free stuff. And where have I heard that before? Well, I'm lucky I drew some income here too, so we're pretty even to start out. In my turn, go back to him. So, the first couple turns of the game, pretty typical of a card game. You're just laying out your income. You're trying to build up a little bit here. Again, all this art is stand-in. It's not what we're going to end up with. All this UI is stand-in. It's not what we're going to end up with. We care very much about having an experience in the game that's really, really sleek, fun, intuitive, fast. People are not going to care about the strategy if the actual interface isn't good. And that's why we're on Kickstarter, trying to raise money to do that properly. So he's played a creature here. I'm going to use my little inspector tool to inspect that. Oh, look, it's enamored.
George, one of the questions in chat is, what is your favorite color?
What is my favorite color in the game, or what is my favorite color in real life?
Oh, I don't know. I think you should answer both.
Well, my favorite color...
Hey, we got a new backer.
All right, let's give something away.
Time to give something away. Who cares?
George,
Matt,
George,
you know what's interesting about your phone connection is it's like you have like that special mode where it sounds like you're on top of a mountain or something. It's very strange. I can barely hear you.
Nobody cares about what color you like, George.
What color
they just
I like?
care about the color.
Okay.
You're
My favorite
All right,
favorite color is actually orange, which is not a color in our game.
All right. So here is and by the way, he loves orange because that's the color of the Netherlands, and George is half Dutch. But anyway,
That's not the only reason.
the question is, and I'm just gonna say it because it's not gonna be written up anywhere. But the question is, and first two people that get this right, get a giveaway. So the question is, we just released a couple of stretch goals. George mentioned this earlier. So the question is, at the 66K stretch goal level, what is the card, the specific card that you get as an extra?
So you're going to have people go look that up? You sly dog, you.
That's right. It is. Oh, okay. Oh, we have two answers.
That
was
quickly?
very fast.
Jeez.
I thought people would thought it would
Well,
take a little bit longer.
Everybody else is just gonna wait and see what. Oh, this is the first two.
This is
right?
the first two people.
Oh, yeah.
So we have.
What you should all be doing is don't listen to us. Just memorize everything on the Kickstarter page.
All right. Well, that's good job, Katakasa, and good job, Milo. Wow, you guys are on the ball. I guess
They are on the ball.
You've certainly done your homework.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yes. John Paul will use some complimentary expression now that he will misuse in English. What were you saying the other day? That I shouldn't put my chickens all in one basket?
You shouldn't put all your chickens in one basket.
I shouldn't put all my chickens all in one basket, right? Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that to my chickens.
Because then you'd only be able to eat basket chicken.
Oh my God. So you can see that we
I
both
love
have a creature out.
Sleep AFK's answer was memory scrolls. Oh, this is good.
Are you actually laughing at people? That's so nice of you.
He's
laughing
at his own alt account.
Yeah, Sleep AFK is going to start writing things that are stupid on purpose because you're pretending that it's not you when it's definitely your alt account. So John Paul, who's the guy that's giving out prizes for us on our team, keeps giving out prizes to the same person randomly in chat, and we're supposed to believe it's not his alt. I mean, it's such a thin alibi.
George, I think you should focus on destroying more structures so we can give out more promo
That's
cards.
true. That's true. When somebody destroys a structure in this game, we will give out more promo cards. All right, let's get this game underway. So you guys can see that he's building up a lot of income. He's got a lot of waterfronts there, and he's put out a couple of cards already. He put out a couple creatures. Normally this would have happened in the first couple minutes of the game, but we were talking. So let's start playing. Let's see here. Well, it's his turn. I can actually move around on his turn. I'm just debating whether I want to move this guy. I'm going to see what he's going to do first. He's got this guy right here we might attack with. Oh, he's moving that guy over to my bank to try to scare me. But he can't attack with that creature because it just came out this turn, so he won't be able to pin my bank just yet. Interestingly, the income, or really the chroma in my bank, the money in my bank doubles as the hit points of my bank, if you will. So if my bank has 3 money in it or whatever, and you attack it, you will be able to steal some of that money. But if the bank is empty and you attack it, you'll be able to destroy the bank, which is much worse for me. So it's important in Chromancer to sort of leverage how and when you use your resources. If you use all of the money in your bank on your turn, you're actually making your bank really vulnerable to attack. So you better be careful it doesn't have creatures in the vicinity. On the other hand, you could just play sort of a short-term game, and you could say, A, I don't care about my bank and let him destroy it, or B, you could say, let him attack my bank, and then you can pause the action and respond to the action. This game is not asynchronous. It's like Magic. There's actions and reactions, and you can react to reactions and so forth. And you can maybe just let him attack your bank and pause the action and then burn a card out of your hand instantly in order
George,
to get...
we have another backer.
Oh, okay. Please interrupt me. And then you can burn a card out of your hand in order to get free income that goes right to your bank and save your bank. Of course, then your card is gone forever. All right, well, we have a new backer. Please...
We have a new backer. It's incredible. It's raining backers right now. All right. Let's see. I updated the trivia question, so you guys should make haste. It's an easy one. Well, it might be an easy one. It might be actually a difficult one. This one actually rewards people that have been on the playtest and played with some of the decks. So I don't know. Is that a fair thing to do?
Yeah, although I'm sort of more concerned about the fact that he's attacking my graveyard right here. So I think
Oh, by the way, guys, you have to type this as a
die.
word, not a number. It's a word, not a number. Sorry.
That's all right.
All right, there we go.
So, Pete, are you on the line? I thought Pete was on the line.
I am.
Oh,
Hello.
He was on the
whoa.
line. There was just apparently a really large delay. Either that or that was sort of like the...
I think your name, Pete, should change from PDO to PDO Lurker.
Pete the Lurker? No, I don't think he was lurking. I think he was just using sort of a theatrical entrance so that we would all be impressed.
All right, guys, rolling the dice. Though 76.
All right. Let's try to play here a little bit. Oh, it's my turn? Okay, well, I'm commenting that's my turn. All right, so I'm going to use the inherent ability of this guy to... You know what? I'm going to draw cards first. All right, I got another creature. I'm going to put that out. Switch to my creature right here. And then I will cast a spell with this guy. Bang.
Your spell goes bang.
That particular spell goes bang.
Bang, bang.
What are you casting a spell on? It's kind of hard to see from the...
Oh, I'm casting a spell at Enamored. The spell was Hellfire, which is a huge spell that does damage to everything in the lane, including myself. But I dodged my own spell, which is kind of a neat little tactic. So let's...
is that intended, George?
Let's not answer that question for this playtest, shall we? Let's just say that I dodged my own spell, and it was totally fine, and that's what was supposed to happen.
Well, he can dodge it too, can't he?
He can dodge. I'm expecting he will dodge.
G412 Joe is asking, is Cepheid on the call? We should get Cepheid on Skype. Do you have Skype, buddy? You want to get on the call with us?
Yeah, if you'd like to, please join us. You can have somebody other than me talk. What now?
Maybe that's a little bit too much pressure. No pressure, my man. No pressure. If you're even a man, we love women too. God,
if you're even a man.
I
Good job, John Paul. Nice, very diplomatic. It's well done.
I mean, I don't want to assume that Cepheid is a guy. I mean, maybe it's a woman.
I see. Maybe it's an alt of John Paul.
No, it's not. I don't just populate the Twitch channel with all of my alts so that our viewership looks higher than it is.
Well,
I swear.
All right.
We don't mind it if you do that, as long as all your alts back us.
Pete, do you want to drive a little bit here so that it's not taking forever? It's kind of my bad. Anyway, yeah. So We do occasionally have our guys on the channel come on the call and banter with us and hold their own. But in any event, um, sort of a mid game right here, trying to figure out who has the advantage. I don't think anyone really does.
Enough talk. I think I wanna think about a giveaway here.
Okay, what do you want to give away?
Well,
I think we should talk more about the game.
Okay. No, we should. I'll tell you what. I've been kind of typing up some questions that I've seen come up here. So, why don't you answer one of the questions, and I'll think about a good first come first serve question because
Okay.
people like those.
You should
The
ask a question about one of
was,
our game colors. Those are always popular questions.
Okay. But wait. There was a question about Chromancer.
Okay, what's the question?
Somebody had asked, as an indie shop, something like, if you guys, you're an indie shop, you're a small team, how are you guys gonna compete with like the big boys like Hex and Hearthstone, and
Oh,
after you build something as
well,
good
Hex is
as
indie too. Of course, they are pretty big. How are we going to compete with those guys? Well, I mean, it's a good question, and the answer is just that we have a different product than they do. The bottom line, we trade on sort of the mechanics of our game and sort of the innovation of our game, and it just plays differently. I mean, this is, um, it's a game that's easy to play and fun to play, but it's complex, it's strategic. It's a game that is pretty deep in terms of how much you can think about it, and and it's got complex deck building as well because we have 12 colors in the game and colorless resources. So you can build, a 7-color deck if you want to, or a 4-color deck, or an 8-color deck, or whatever you want. It just depends on how you're going to balance that, whether you're going to want to do that or not. So you can see that in this playtest, we're actually playing, a mono red deck against a mono blue deck. And, the pace of the game is just not that fast right now simply because the UI is not very good. But obviously that's improving. That's obviously what we're working on with our Kickstarter. I showed you those photos earlier. If you want to see more, just go to our Kickstarter page and you can see some of the images of what it will look like in the isometric view and so forth. This is really to get an idea of the mechanics, but we'll compete because we're a low budget kind of a group. I mean, we've done all the work ourselves. All we need to do is pay for the artwork and the UI, and it's just a great game in terms of mechanics.
The other thing is we think that there's room for Hex and for Chromancer in the scope
Sure.
of online card games. Chromancer is not an expensive game, and it's not a game that takes 4 hours of your time to play. So you can definitely be playing both of them.
That's what I'll be doing.
Another question, actually. This is just because I want to note it down. I think Tarot King was actually asking, what's the color distribution going to be for the first 300 cards?
Oh, great question, Tarot King.
So-
Tarot King's a great guy. He's one of the more senior players at Elements, which is, by the way, a very, very good card game out there. He's a very, very skilled player and a veteran player of that game. The distribution of cards across the 300, I think we have 28 of each color that's being released, and I know that doesn't add to 300. It's actually more than 300. That's because many of the cards are dual colored. So, for example, if we have an elf that's white and green, we count that as both a white and a green card. So it's 28 to a color on launch. Obviously, there's many, many more that will follow. But our cards are limited right now to monocolored cards and to dual colored cards. We don't have things that are more colors than that. I don't really think we will anytime in the immediate future. There's no call for that. And that's a lot. I mean, people say, oh, only 28 cards because they're used to Magic, but 28 cards that are all different mechanically is a lot of cards per color. You really can define different styles of play with that set, and that's what we've done.
Someone's asking in chat, what do you think about M&M Duel of Champions? So I've actually played a fair amount of Duel of Champions, and having played other Might and Magic games, I really enjoyed Clash of Heroes. That was a Game Boy Advance game back in
It's not a card
2009.
game.
No, it's not a card game, but it is kind of a puzzle strategy game. But I enjoy the setting, and I was eager to jump into Duel of Champions. I liked it for what it was, which was basically kind of a take on a lane-based game with some decent, I would say, not for my taste, not amazing artwork. Yeah, it was fairly good. Pretty snappy gameplay. Was kind of getting into it, and then I just hit a complete wall because. I wanted to put together some decks, and I found that there was no marketplace. There was no
Oh, there's no trading.
There's no trading platform. So I got really frustrated because what it meant was that I'd have to basically like throw tons of money at the game so that I could actually make the decks that I wanted because I enjoy deck building.
Sure.
So that kind of really took
It's
the
time
wind
for
out
a
of my sails.
giveaway.
No trading.
God.
No trading sort of turned it off for you.
Yeah, it really did. But
Well, I mean, I think that
We had a backer.
we got a new backer, Matt. Great. Let's give something away.
No, we have an increase.
Oh, we have an increase.
we have an
Okay.
increase.
Well,
All right,
let me ask a trivia question since I haven't really gotten in on that.
Okay.
If you can
so
answer
is
this
it-
trivia question, you will get what should we give somebody? A booster pack?
Sure, booster pack sounds
Great.
good. Is it? Are there multiple answers, or do we want to take like first two people?
Oh, you know what? Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll make it a multiple answer question. Although then I have to think of something else.
No, just do a single answer, but we'll just take like the first
Yeah,
two
this is
people. How
ridiculous.
about that?
Let's just name a color. No, okay, don't do that. Okay, I almost broke something on my desk. I probably shouldn't get so excited about my trivia questions. They're really exciting, but maybe I should calm down a little bit. Yeah, okay. Here's a trivia question for you. Actually, make it. Let's not give away a booster pack. What we should give away for this is 100 chroma, which is our game currency, and you can use that however you want in the game. In fact, make it 200 chroma.
Okay.
So for 200 chroma, answer this question first in the chat. Type the name of the color in our game, which has cards that evolve. It's a hard question if you haven't followed us on our forums. It's an easy question if you have. Anyway.
Cards that evolve. Okay.
There's only one color in our game that has cards that evolve. At the moment.
All right.
And I'll give you a clue. They evolve through evolution.
That's really smart.
Isn't that a great
Well, looks like people have
fascinating.
gotten the right answer.
Have they?
And it was the first two people, right?
No, but you can give it to the first two people if you want.
Well, we did have two.
Are they both
two
your
people.
alts? Is that why you're asking?
No, they're not my alts.
You
We just
have
had two
so many
people
alts.
adjust their pledges. So I figured, two people deserve prizes.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, the winner, or the correct answer is green.
That is the correct answer.
And it looks like, from what I can see, Katakasa and Majin Koba
Okay, great. Congrats, guys.
were the quickest on the trigger.
Yeah,
as
we
far
won't
as
always do trivia
was-
questions. Sometimes we'll do a random raffle of people in the channel. Don't worry.
Close but no cigar.
But you know what? I want to talk about Duel of Champions quickly because somebody was asking about
New
that.
backer.
Oh my god. Really? Okay, do a raffle for that one because I want to just say something about Duel of Champions, which is that we were talking about the fact that it's not a tradable game. I mean, I'm of the opinion, and I think that our team, but I won't speak for them, but I think I can. We're of the opinion that you can't really be, honestly, you can't really be a collectible card game if you're not a tradable card game. In other words, it doesn't make any sense to collect a card game if you can't, if you're not a trader within the context of a marketplace of other collectors, because that's the same thing as an RPG. And to me, the whole price model of that has to be different. And that's kind of what John Paul was talking about. He was saying that he felt like he had to pay into the system a lot to be able to collect these cards. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of games that are out-of-the-box kind of games that you pay for the game and you pay for the expansions and you just pay to play the game. And you don't expect, that you're going to trade what you've paid for. But in a card game, you're buying cards because not necessarily you need or want those cards, but because they have a certain value that you can trade for other cards. And so that's part of the joy of the game, and that's why the word collectibles in the name. So if you don't have that, it's just like you're playing an RPG and you're just unlocking things on your account as you collect cards rather than having to be relevant in a larger context. So that's the one thing that is not something that we like, but it's not meant to be a criticism about that particular game. I mean, that particular game is a really fun game, which it doesn't have to be a trading card game. It's just I don't think of it as a collectible card game. I think of it as a card game. It's a fun card game. It's like poker. Poker's a fun card game. Poker's not a collectible card game, but it's a card game that's really fun. So Duel of Champions is fun. It has a lot of really great balance. It has interesting mechanics. It has that slotted lane sort of mentality where if a creature is somewhere, there can't be another creature there, which is fine. That's not how our game plays out. Our game is positional, but you can see on the screen right here, actually, there's two blue creatures standing on the same space, and you can have an unlimited number of creatures on the same space. So even though we have lanes in our game is not slotted. So it's a positional game where you're trying to defend positions, and it matters where things are relative to each other, but it doesn't matter that they're on the same spot. And that really changes the strategy of the game a lot. It makes our game much more open and much more like a chess or something like that, where the whole point of the game is for you to figure out how to do things, and you're you don't have a lot of rules about how you can do things. You can do kind of whatever you want. Duel of Champions is a lot more rigid in that sense. But it's a fun game. They have a pretty unique resource system where you are gaining a resource every turn, and you have to choose which kind you want, and that informs your deck building and so forth. So interesting game. We also met the Duel of Champions guys at PAX. We were at PAX Prime a few weeks ago displaying Chromancer. And they're extremely, extremely nice guys who are really legit card game industry guys. They're obviously part of a big company, but specifically the team on Duel of Champions are really into card games, which we always love. So hopefully that was not too long-winded an answer.
I have no idea. I phased you out like I do very often, George. But Marco Slayer and JT DeKester, you guys have won 2 booster packs. You can thank whoever backed for.
So you're just giving out prizes 2 at a time now?
Well, no, we had 2. Oh my God, Brandon! I will name no names, but we have another another backer.
I will name no names. Brandon, I will name no names. Is the person's last name I will name no names, or were you just catching yourself too late there?
His name,
oh my God.
Mr. Isma.
I mean, we got that one already, but maybe
Mr. Bjorn Snorkson, and we won't tell you his nationality.
Oh, did we? Oh, did we? No, we didn't.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Let's just give something away. It's too late now.
It's too late. It'd be random. To
All right, guys, we're giving away John Paul's salary because obviously he hasn't earned it.
How about we give away? Okay, I'm thinking.
You don't start a sentence without knowing the end of the sentence. Oh my God.
I was planning to insult you, and then I just had a brain
This
fart.
game is also, I'm watching this game, and it's really a deadlock here. These guys are just fighting back and forth, and it's maybe not obvious to you what's happening if you're watching this game underway. It's just because they're so evenly matched, they keep knocking each other down.
Okay. I've got a random question. It has nothing to do with collectible card games,
they're
but it
pretty
does
close.
have to
Somebody's
do with
going to go down
Monty
very
Python.
soon.
All right, Monty Python related question. Also, kind of geek related question.
Monty Python related question. Really?
I'll take the first. Let's see, the first person that gets the answer here.
Oh, you're asking it? No, I thought you meant somebody in the chat was asking it.
Will win a 1-month subscription.
You want to give somebody a 1-month subscription for knowing about Monty Python?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's certainly grounds for winning good stuff. All right, so the question is, what is the last name of one of the Pythons from Monty Python, obviously, who also shared a name with a character in the Dragonlance universe?
Oh my God, I don't even know the answer to that question, man.
I know, that's why it's hard.
It's
but
not hard. That's freaking impossible.
No, it's not. All you have to Google is like.
Oh, you have to do is Google it. Okay, now that's what we're doing. We're just letting you Google things.
Look, X-Master already got it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I thought it would be hard.
Oh my God.
All right, X-Master 8621.
Yeah, sure. The next question is, what's the atomic weight of palladium?
Incredibly attuned to my trivia here. Okay.
Oh
you win a 1-month subscription.
Nonsense.
I thought it would be really hard.
It was really hard.
I was mistaken.
Okay, let's ask questions related to the card game industry.
All right.
What was John Cleese's favorite card game? No. Man, I'm trying to. It looks like somebody's going to go down here. His graveyard's at 0. I actually have Pete on the line who's driving this game. I'm not actually playing through it myself at the moment, mostly because I'm a cheater and Pete's a better player than I am. So.
And you've left me in quite a position, George.
You're welcome. I wanted to challenge you. Yeah. Don't tell anyone that you're playing. We'll fool everyone on the Twitch channel. They'll think I'm playing.
Okay.
Yeah. I just won't show them my hands.
All right.
Yeah. In any event. Other questions about Chromancer? Other questions about the industry? I mean, I can say that, again, we're an indie company. We have this up on Kickstarter. We started this 7 years ago. This is a game with unbelievably cool mechanics, and I hope that you're realizing how painful the current UI is and the current art is, and just looking at this and going, oh my god, this has such potential, but it needs to have really good art and really good UI. And you know what? The reason Mark Poole, one of the most famous artists in the industry, is working with us is because he sees the potential. So what we really need to do is raise this Kickstarter money, pay for the UI, pay for the art, and get ourselves to a place where we can actually create something that's very sleek, fun to use, fun to play. If you want to see some examples of what we're thinking, our 3D isometric stuff, just go to the Kickstarter page. Actually, I can hop off of this just quickly to show you some of it myself. There's that. Just an example of like what these little trees will look like, and so on. So maybe a close-up of that. You can see sort of like, these are just artist sketches, but you can see how we want things to actually lay out. It'll be much more interesting. What is that? It's probably a black Balrog, right? Well, that's a strong creature that we have. I'll click back into this now.
So there's kind of a question from Azrael Arcon. Oh my God, Azrael Arcontus.
That's a good pronunciation there, John Paul. Oh my goodness.
Which is how does this game work? How does this game work, George?
How does this game work? That is a good question. Well, this is a collectible card game. You come to a game with a deck that you built yourself. You play against your opponent's deck. And the basic premise of this game, which makes it different from all other collectible card games and which makes it really brand new and really interesting to play, is that the point of the game is not to attack your opponent directly. You're not trying to knock your opponent's hit points to 0 like you always are when you play Magic. What you're trying to do is you're trying to destroy your opponent's ability to play the game. And that works out in a very simple way. I can explain in just a couple seconds, which is that you set up on a board, as you can see right here on the screen. You choose where on the board you're going to put your deck, your discard pile, and your pool of resources, like your bank, basically. And during the course of the game, your opponent is attacking those things, and you're attacking his. And if he destroys your deck, or if he destroys your discard pile, or if he destroys your pool of resources, you can't use them the rest of the game. So he could literally stop you from drawing cards the rest of the game, or from saving resources from turn to turn. And we call it an adaptive strategy card game because you have to adapt to the changing rules of the game as you play the game, and that's what makes it so interesting and fun. It changes the way deck building works. It's actually sometimes good to have cards that play differently at the end game than they do in the beginning of the game, precisely because the game is going to change so much as you play it. A really good example of that is undead creatures. Undead creatures in our game can enter play directly from the discard pile. So if you deck build to have a whole bunch of undead creatures, you're going to be a lot stronger in the end game when most of your cards have been sent to the discard pile because they gain power as they emerge and they can just come right back into play. You can maybe dual color deck build and create a deck that has sort of normal creatures that you use at the beginning of the game and a bunch of undead spells that turn your creatures undead that you use in the end game so that when they're all in the discard pile, suddenly they become undead, they can come back out into play. So there's these different types of strategies that occur based on our setup, which is pretty cool. Yeah,
George, there's a question from G412 Joe.
Okay.
So G412
his
Joe.
name is Joey. How are you doing, Joey?
So G412 Joe is asking, what happens in the event of a draw? I think that's a pretty good question.
In the event of a draw.
Yeah.
Well, then both people are shot. No. It's very, very hard to draw a game of Chromancer. It's technically possible, but the only way that it's going to be possible is if somebody is in a losing position and is trying to force a draw. If nobody is trying to force a draw, the game is not going to draw. It's just not going to happen. And
That's
well, okay, there might be some
necessarily
positions.
true, George.
You're
I
right.
mean,
There might be some positions that.
if both banks are gone, then it becomes easier to draw.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I rescind my previous statement in which I was.
That happened to me yesterday. So
Stop being so factual when you're answering questions.
Don't use logic to answer
Don't
these
use
questions.
correct answers. Okay, that's a good point. It is possible to draw. That's fair enough. Well, what happens when there's a draw is there's a draw. I guess that's the answer. I hope that's helpful. No, I mean, you could rematch. Your ante would be taken if you have one.
I think
It does happen occasionally, but it doesn't happen very often. And the reason it doesn't happen very often is that if you get into some sort of a stalemate, there's an alternate win condition, which is that if you get to 100 chroma, which is the resource before the opponent, you win instantly. And so if you're in some kind of a deadlock, usually what's going to end up happening is, suddenly there's this arms race that starts up where you're like, oh, actually, I'm just going to outrace you to 100 chroma. And then, if you get there first,
George.
you win. Yep.
George, I think maybe the question was actually what happens right now if this game is a draw. Who gets prizes?
Well, that's less interesting. What happens if there's a draw?
You just have to understand the mercenary tendencies here.
Don't worry, it's not going to be a draw anyway, so don't worry.
Not going to be a draw?
Yeah.
Are you just like making him take forever to kill you? Usually what happens when the game is taking a long time is, clearly no offense meant to anyone, but usually what's happening is somebody should be winning, but they're not pressing their advantage properly.
You're not playing the game properly.
I'm not trying to be a jerk. If it's your first time playing, I'm just saying, you don't.
What a thing to say! I can't believe
Thing
it.
to say, George. Jesus.
All right, I'm fired.
All right, I think it's time for a giveaway.
Oh my goodness.
Blah 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 blah. Giveaway.
It has been 45 minutes. I mean, the games usually last 15 minutes, so yeah, it's a good question. It's a rightful question to ask. I guess if it is a draw, we will consider that the same thing as the player winning, because they forced us into a draw, and we shouldn't be forced into a draw.
All right, it's giveaway time. I'm rolling the dice. Plenty of people are in the eligibility list, so
Nice.
Here we go.
If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to ask them. We're not 100% sure that our fantasy writer is going to be online tomorrow for the call. He might be, but we'll probably have our art director on the call tomorrow. So if you have questions about art and what we're doing with art in our project, or if you have questions about fantasy writing and the whole sort of world of Chromancer and how we're setting it, please ask us those things. Hopefully tomorrow.
I just want to note that Sleep AFK won the roll again.
Oh my God, John Paul, you were such a cheater. You're a cheater. Just admit it.
Just because there's this rumor going around, I don't think it would be fair
I'm gonna pop here over to our website quickly.
it would not be fair to
show
deprive him
everybody.
of prizes just because of the slander going around the Twitch channel.
Here back on our website, I just scrolled down here to show you the lore of Prismy, which is this article right here you can click on. And you can see this is a fantasy story that has been written by our professional fantasy writer who's in-house. His name is Per Timlin. And this is just an absolutely fantastic story. This is just a few pages long. You should read this story. I mean, you owe it to yourself to go to our website and read this right now. If you like fantasy at all, it is fantastic. It's one of my favorite things. It's right here, right third story down on our main news feed on our page. So go hit that up. Don't forget to check out our Kickstarter page up here. If you do that, you can hop over here to the front page and you can see some of these changes that we're making to the game too, and why we're raising these funds. All right, back to the game. Anyway, any other questions? Anything else we should discuss, or any other giveaways to conduct here?
I just noticed that Big Sushi FM is in the house. So happy to have you.
Oh, shout out! Shall we let's get Big Sushi on the line.
Oh my God! What up, Landon? If it is Landon, just so you guys know,
Dude, that's incredibly rude if it's John, man. Let's just choose one of the two people at random and say hello.
Well, it's just because.
John, we are not saying hello to you. Just so you know, we are not saying hello to you.
Maybe
So
we,
rude.
Landon
it is
anyway.
Landon. See?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay, now I look like an idiot. All right. Well, never mind.
But yeah, you guys should check out Big Sushi FM. We did a podcast with Landon over at Big Sushi about a week ago or something, and it was so much fun. These guys are great. Very cool vibe. check them out. Big Sushi FM, and I love their business cards are amazing.
Oh, that's a good point. Their business cards are amazing. And I might have one
Yeah.
right here somewhere that I could show on this live stream. Where is it? I have it in my business cards pile over there. Well, anyway.
It's okay. It's a whale wrapped in a big nigiri roll. I love it.
It is pretty good. Landon, do you want to get on the call with us just to say hi?
Oops. Sorry. Blah blah blah. I've disabled linking, Landon. My bad.
You disabled linking.
But
Why would you do that?
I can certainly link for you if you're linking your website.
Oh. Sure. Yeah. No, the Big Sushi guys are great, and the cool thing about them is that they're interested in indie games, and so they were at PAX Prime, and they have a lot of coverage of other indie games as well. So if you're at all into the indie scene and games in general, you should definitely check them out. They also did a couple interviews with some people of note at PAX, which were interesting to listen to. We had a 10-hour car ride at one point between Indianapolis and Washington, D.C. when we went to Gen Con, and we listened to one of their podcasts on the way. And that was certainly a way to take our minds off the road. Luckily, we didn't crash.
Yeah. Okay, guys. By the way, everyone seems to be kind of annoyed at Moobot deleting messages with links. So I've disabled that. You can link stuff. Just if I start seeing spamming in the chat, I'll put it back. So.
Oh, so
That's
you have a spam filter on there?
Yeah.
Okay, Pete. Shall we wrap this game up in a turn? Is it possible? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're getting beaten.
Yeah, sure, I can concede, no problem. Sephi definitely has me in this game anyway. So, congratulations, you've beaten a pair of devs.
Indeed. Yeah, I see. Well, he can knock out your bank next turn, basically, right?
Well, I can just concede, or he can go for the Chroma victory. It's up to him.
I see. Okay. Well, congratulations. Hopefully we can start another game up that doesn't take quite so long. You guys can see how it plays out a little bit. It's positional. You're moving your creatures around to try to assault these different structures of your opponent. The most important thing to recognize here, though, is that this is not our actual final UI. This is not our actual final art. We're raising money for that on Kickstarter. I talked a little bit about how the game works at the beginning of the live stream. I could talk a little bit more about it. But the best thing to do is really just check us out. Go to our website, go to our Kickstarter page, actually read about the game, watch the videos about the game. There's tons of instructional videos out there with all the mechanics and so forth for you to read about. And you can sign up for a playtest. The game is live.
We just got Landon on the line.
Oh, we did?
What up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Pretty good.
We're doing
It's good to
okay.
have
Out
you
on my
on the
good
show.
mic. This was unanticipated. I was going to try to join tomorrow, but I can do that too.
Cool. Man.
Yeah, hop on. Actually, that's a good little plug there because we didn't mention, but tomorrow we'll be on the same time, same Chromancer channel, but we'll be going for way more hours because that's kind of our final push. So we're going to be playing games, taking guests, talking, chatting, lore, joking, anything and everything goes.
Yeah, we're an hour in now. We're probably not on for much longer. Yeah, what's going on?
And JP, you should at least give away one more thing for my bank being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. You know what? I'm
And
going to
also
take care of that
because
right now.
somebody just increased.
That means it's like 2 giveaways.
Aren't we also giving away something because a community-based community design deck won?
Oh my god.
Well, I think that's basically like the deck builder. I think gets the prize.
Yeah,
right?
I think we'll handle that on the website. But
All right.
yeah, congrats to those to the deck builder. I guess that's
All right.
Milo.
So I'll do a couple of quick rolls in the chat right now. Just to okay. So the first one goes to Naud. Naud is the winner.
Woo!
Hey,
Hey, Naud. Oh, I guess he's online. Cheers, buddy.
So Naud, Naud
good
wins
guess.
a promo card
Thank you. Yeah.
for the structure going down. Let's see. What else were we? Did we have another backer? Was that the other thing?
I think so. Yeah.
We had an increase.
Oh, we had an increase. Okay. So that deserves yet another roll, and that's going to be for a.
Okay. Enough of this.
booster pack, I
Enough of
believe.
this John Paul commentary. Landon, how are you,
All
sir?
right.
Good, George. Who are you playing right now?
This is one of our community members, who Seafeed, who is beating down on the devs, as many of our players are wont to do. Wait,
Who's better now?
want to do? Does that mean that they want to do it or that they don't want to do it? I always forget.
I think either way works.
um,
So what's the win ratio now?
The win ratio is that I basically lose every time. I don't know what the actual ratio is.
George, you designed this game. Don't you have like
I-
cheat codes or something?
I'm sure I have lots of cheat codes. I just don't really know how to use them properly. They're complicated codes. No, I don't know. I think that trying to talk about things and play at the same time has been my downfall. No,
It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. Anybody that ever wants to be a YouTuber, like, it's hard to do it.
it's hard to be a YouTuber in general, right? Yeah, trying
Yeah.
to narrate as you play. Yeah,
It's two sides of the brain.
it is. It is. Well, in any event,
So you guys starting a new game?
I think we're going to. What is this considered a conceded game here?
It is.
Oh, okay. Well, of course we should start a new game. Let's not hang out. Excel it versus Sutalgon. Okie dokie. We can grab one more person from the chat who wants to challenge the dev.
Bezos is asking where in DC we're based. George, that's sensitive info.
Where in DC are we based?
Yeah. I
We are
think
based
Bezos
in the
is
bell tower of the cathedral.
in the bell tower of the cathedral.
Yes.
Or thereabouts.
Or thereabouts. No, we're based in Northwest DC, like most businesses are, not far from downtown. I mean, if Bezos is from DC and wants to grab a coffee with us sometime or something, feel free to hit us up by email. We're pretty
All
friendly.
right, guys, type challenge.
I mean, John
if,
Paul's not very friendly, but we're friendly. But John Paul's in New York
type
anyway.
challenge if you want to be a challenger, and then we'll random whoever wants to challenge somebody.
Hey, Seafeed, thank you for the game and congrats to you.
Yeah, good job.
All right. Oh wow, seafood. Okay, cool. That's a. Let's see.
What?
All right. Let's see who's the next challenger. Next challenger is Ilrun.
Landon, let's just ignore these guys and chat a little bit.
Okay.
Have you, since Seattle,
Hey,
have you
just-
run across a hamburger joint with slower service than the one we ate at?
I have not eaten a hamburger since.
Oh, even better. You've been turned off hamburgers by the whole slow process.
They had good ginger ale.
They did
I
have
recall
good.
that.
That's
They had awesome ginger ale.
my God. Now you know what? Actually, now I'm thinking about that ginger ale. This was not a rabbit hole I should have gone down. How can I get myself some ginger ale?
George is a massive ginger ale fan. But no, that was a good night. We went to the indie after party at PAX Prime, listened to some awesome music, and checked out games in a bar, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. They were playing like Super Nintendo games up on a screen, and we were watching. And then I was showing everybody how, quote, good at Super Mario World I was until I died. It's hard to fly, you know?
Yeah,
It's not easy.
you only need like 20 years of practice.
Well, I mean, I only have 25. Well, I'm not sure the game is that old. In any event.
So what decks are you showing off tonight?
We've got a bunch of decks that folks have created themselves on our website. Let's see here.
Speaking of decks, there are two new ones I just added.
Deep Sea Predator and Boring
Yeah.
But Sharks.
That's right.
That's a good name. Boring But Sharks.
Those are both unplayed and untested.
They're
so that
unplayed,
would be fun.
untested player decks. Okay. Pete, are you choosing one of those decks for the playtest right now?
I can reboot and choose
And
one of
then
those.
George, you have to choose it, and then he jumps in.
Okay. Of course, I have to choose it.
Yeah, go ahead and choose one, and I'll jump in.
Okay, let me go with the Boring But Sharks deck. It's boring, but it's sharks. So it's not boring.
Yeah.
I would like to know how to win with sharks.
How you win with sharks?
Yes, 'cause
By...
that was the card deck I was playing with, and it's pretty difficult.
Oh, well, I mean, the particular deck that we had built there, you have a creature in that deck called Squall Tamer, which makes your sharks better and makes them not wild. And when sharks are not wild, then you can use them to assault structures. So That is probably the answer to your question. You were having difficulty because you couldn't assault structures.
Yes.
It's not a very well built deck. Is the short answer to that question.
But it's interesting. I think that's what makes it so exciting is that you guys have such a variety in terms of how these cards are played.
Well, yeah, sharks are really strong. I mean, they have no upkeep. They have tons of life. They attack for a lot. They have bloodlust. They have all kinds of great abilities. They have pin. You can't dodge their attacks. But then they have this drawback. So, I mean, that to us is really kind of the essence of a good game, is that there's always a balance to the advantage of something. I don't think the decks were particularly well designed necessarily. They were a little boring because we don't have a lot of cards in the playtest for the early playtests. And obviously we're using a UI and art that's, not great. That's going to be replaced. But the decks were pretty well balanced between the two of them, the red and blue deck. I mean, people were winning with one and winning with the other. When you're referring to the shark deck of those two. People are welcome to come playtest. We do have playtests available. We open them up occasionally. Come to our website and sign up for them if you'd like to actually test what we're talking about. And we'll get a game going momentarily here once we get someone signed up. Are you going to play against Joey, or who are you going to play against?
Well, you know what?
Terra King is probably not able to get in.
Oh, he's not? Oh, no,
hang on
okay.
just a second.
He says he just needs to be allowed to get in.
Okay.
So I guess, Matt, you're setting that up?
I'm going to pop off this screen for a second to show you guys again some of what's coming in terms of the graphical look that we want. 3D isometric look. You can see all of that.
Oh, for real? That's awesome.
Isn't it? Isn't it cool?
That is so cool.
Yeah, and you can, pop over to the Kickstarter page here too to see, if you scroll down it, more explanation of this stuff and so forth.
So we have when we get to it, I guess it's better to, rather than type these answers up, just to talk to them. But Milo has some questions that he's posing in the chat
And
about
here's our website.
game economics. And, the questions are, looks like one question was, what exactly does subscription give you? So, George, you want to tackle that one real quick?
Yeah, look, subscription should be thought of as
follow-up.
VIP. We're a free-to-play game, and let's talk about free-to-play for a second. There are a lot of games that claim to be free-to-play. They're not free-to-play. And the reason they're not free-to-play is because they don't understand that free-to-play is a game design problem. It's not a game economics problem. If you say to somebody, my game is free-to-play, but it requires 60,000 hours of your time to be able to compete with a paid player, that's not a free game. Your time isn't free. So what we're doing in order to make our game actually free to play, in addition to the standard that a free player has access to absolutely everything, and that everything is tradable, so that literally even membership, which can be stored in the form of a voucher, can be traded to a free player. A free player can have absolutely everything a paid player can have. In addition to that, we're also designing the game so that all of the cards that are the most important for effective deck building and being successful at the game are the common cards. And that's going to mean that, free cards that you get when you start up your account are going to be the good ones. And so you're going to be able to beat a guy who's paid thousands of dollars into the game if you're a good enough player. But at the same time, we enable players to pay into the system if they want to collect the game and if they want to collect the rare cards, because the rare cards give them a lot more options. Think League of Legends, which is a very good game at monetizing well without threatening the integrity of the game, because they sell peripherals and they sell options and they sell aesthetics, and those are the things that we want to sell. So talking about membership, the reason that we offer things like membership, which basically is a fixed fee that you pay every month to us in order to get a whole bunch of free stuff streaming constantly into your account, as well as access to some members areas and so forth, the reason that we offer things like that is really so that we can have a model of free to play. It is important as a company for us to be able to monetize ourselves without relying on the sales of cards, so that we can be in a position where we are able to basically provide a truly free-to-play experience, and we don't have this incentive, which is kind of inevitable, that we need to boost our card sales. That's really the nutshell of it, and it's just a steadier income, if you will, for a company when you have people on membership rather than just buying boosters at their behest, and that also enables us to make those kinds of decisions. So what it is, though, in a nutshell, is membership is $7 a month, and you get a free booster pack every week, which is worth $2. So you're already making it back. And you get access to things like members tournaments and so forth. So it's a good deal all around. But think of it as a VIP status. Don't think of it as something that you need, because you really don't need it. It's just optional. I hope that was a useful, long-winded answer.
Well, I mean,
What
Milo
are some
will be
other ways that you can pay? Like, if say you can buy booster packs on their own, there's a subscription service. Like,
Actually, you can't
what's
buy
the
booster
idea
packs
behind
on
the
your.
cost?
You can't buy
Oh,
booster
oh,
packs
really?
for money. No, you can buy. I mean, it's a stupid answer, because you can buy Chroma, which is our online currency, for money, and you can buy booster packs with Chroma. So I mean, it's like basically a two-step transaction. So you can't theoretically in that sense, but. All of the things in our game store are sold for Chroma, and we're intent on keeping it that way because you can generate Chroma in the game as a free player. And so it's important because that enables free players basically to invest their time as opposed to their money. But you were saying, what are other things that you can purchase in our game? What else is for sale, basically?
Yeah, well, you said the Chroma is your in-game currency.
Mhm.
You use that to get booster packs. How else do you use Chroma?
Well, there's tons of things you can use it for. There's so many things that are tradable in our game that you could trade Chroma for them. In other words, buy them. Those can be avatar accessories. Those can be forum badges. Those can be tickets to a tournament that you're running and that you've set the rules for. Those can be things like unopened packs of cards, which is really cool because it means you can save up your boosters from the alpha edition and save them up for 2 years, and then they'll be extremely rare on the marketplace. But you can also eventually, we're hoping, trade more significant things. We care about emergent gameplay, and I'm glad you asked the question, because we care about emergent gameplay. And what that means is if players want to do things like write a newsletter about the state of our economy and sell subscriptions of that newsletter to other players, that's a transaction that we will encourage and then enforce ourselves and give the player page space on the front of our website or something like that. That's the kind of thing that we are looking to provide. Because it's cool and everybody should do it, and it's the way of the future, and why wait for the future?
That's also going along with that. A lot of players on our forums have recently been asking about whether players would be allowed to conduct tournaments and run tournaments, come up with new formats and stuff like that. The answer is yes, absolutely. That's really what we want. We want players to come up with different ways to play and come up with cool formats and things like that. And we will shape the game to accommodate those ideas and not just kind of make you work within a system that we thought up a year ago or something.
Yeah, our players are not a detail for us. There are many game companies, when they think about monetization and when they think about sort of providing for their subscription base, they think first of all as free players as sort of just freeloaders, and they think of players in general as a detail. We realize that players are content. Players are actually your game. So, it doesn't make any sense for us to provide, mode A if 99.9% of the players are playing only mode B, which is a player-made mode, and then not to enforce and enable mode B. So that's exactly how our game will evolve, by players creating their own rule sets and creating their own tournament structures, creating their own events, and then we'll say, great, if everybody likes that, let's make it official.
George, would you like to comment on kind of like how the game's going right now?
The Kickstarter is going fine. You
The
mean the game in front of us right here?
Kickstarter's very close, but the game right now, because I'm intently trying to learn how these sharks work.
Oh, I see. Let's see here.
George is thinking is very, very big picture oriented.
I'm very big picture oriented. Even though my picture is really small up in the corner of the screen.
I noticed
Oh my God.
in your
We started
stream,
with the puns.
you have the card art over to the side. Is that wasn't part of the UI when you were showing me the game before? Is that just for the stream?
That's just for the stream. I'm just scrolling through some things to show people some card art. Yeah. I think basically what's happening is that Terror King is a good card player. But I don't know if that's the correct interpretation. Yeah, I mean, what you want to do with sharks is you want to get a whole lot of them out because they're better when they swarm. So to me, the clear advantage is Terror Kings, the player who's playing on the top part of the screen here on our view. Because he has a lot more income with all of these fields, and he has Enamorid, which is a creature that is much more capable on its own than just a shark. Although this is a pretty strong shark right here. This is a hunter shark.
There's a kind of an interesting question in the chat. I mean, people are asking a bunch of different stuff, but as far as pose a question, which I think is quite interesting, it's a bit of a nuanced answer. The question is, how fast would you generate chroma for free, assuming a 50-50 win rate and average length games?
That is a nuanced question. You are forcing me to be clearer about what I said, which is very annoying, but thank you for the question. Well, look, the first part of the answer that I will give, only because it is accurate and honest, is that it is not intelligent, let's say it's not wise, maybe, for any game company and any person who is a dev of a game company to lay out exactly how the economic system works before they implement it, because it's something that needs to be balanced. So I could very well say, well, it'll take you 5 minutes to do this, and then, I promise that, and then, we find out later on that that doesn't work. Maybe it's not good enough. What I will say is that we are card players, lifelong card players, and we've been on the receiving end of free-to-play, which is actually pay-to-win bullcrap, for way too many times, and we will not implement that, and we will not put that on other people, certainly not our friends. So our goal is going to be to take something reasonable, like the concept that you should be able to earn a booster pack with a few hours of your time, and that doesn't mean 30 hours of your time, it means a few hours of your time, and we'll implement the system around that concept. So the actual number of chromas is almost a little bit immaterial, because our bottom line is the player experience. It's not the actual number. We don't really care about that. We think that if we create a system around the player experience which makes sense and is enjoyable, that, of course, by definition, we will have players buying into the system. We believe that as a principle. I will nonetheless try to give a slightly more specific answer anyway, with all that disclaimer aside, which is that our current thinking is that we will have a two-currency system. And I know that sounds like it goes against everything I've just said, but it really doesn't. Well, I'll try to explain. One currency will be the actual currency, which will be chroma. The other currency is not really a currency. It's sort of a fuel. And this fuel, which we're currently calling Gemma, which is part of our game lore, is basically a thing that you generate by grinding. You can grind it against the AI, you can grind it offline, and so forth. And it is something that every single player, regardless of whether he's a paid player or a free player, has to spend in order to play a match that's rated or get into a tournament or whatever. It's just kind of like something you're spending constantly, a little bit like energy in other games, except that you can earn it. You don't have to wait for it to refresh, which is extremely annoying. I hate it when they do that. So the concept is that if you're a free player and you're generating a lot of this fuel, there will be an anonymous and streamlined and very easy to use system whereby you just trade that fuel into the system to get chroma back out of the system. And the exchange rate of that is determined basically by paid players and free players alike. And that works extremely well in practice. It's not a crackpot idea we came up with in many other games, and in particular many other big games that really do well economically and providing for free players. A good example of that was I don't know what they're doing now, but a game called Spiral Knights by 3 Rings and Sony Entertainment, where they did just what I'm talking about. So that's kind of our current approach. But suffice it to say that if you have the right amount of fuel, you will always be able to trade for chroma. I mean, that's the whole point of the system. That was a long-winded answer. Shall the challenge be that I have to answer questions in 10 words or less? That's not even possible for me.
10 words or fewer, please.
10 words or fewer.
There was a question earlier about adding some lore, some flavor text to the cards. Is that definitely in the works?
It's
you
already
mentioned talking about your fantasy writer and getting some more information about him, but I think it is cool to see that on the card too.
It's already there. It's just not on the actual printed cards right here on the screen, but I'll pop back to our website here for a second and scroll down the screen, and you can see here where my mouse is. Once the feed catches up with what I'm saying, you can see that the workshop here is the section that you click on in order to get this little gallery of all our art. This is our different card art here as it comes in, and look what's below it. Flavor text. Woo! You get all this story about what a red hordling is and what he does and why he's going to bite you. And then you get...
during our interview, I was definitely impressed with how you guys were capable of reciting flavor text from your favorite Magic cards.
Yes.
That's true. That's
Shall
true.
we
In
do
fact,
that
one of the
again?
trivias that we posed the other day was based on one of the flavor texts that we ad hoc quoted to each other.
Flavor text is
I believe
important.
I believe it was. Yeah, what was it? It possesses no intelligence, only counterintelligence. And the correct answer was Scragnoth, which was some green creature or something. So yeah, we do love that stuff.
I don't even remember that card. My favorite was always, but you already know this, was always Wall of Ice. It was a quote from the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It was, and through the drifts, the snowy cliffs did send a dismal sheen. Nor shapes of men, nor beasts we ken. The ice was all between.
That's so good.
I just love the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It's like saying nothing, and yet it's in such a cool way. Well, it's not always saying nothing, but... So this is another close game. I really think that we should show people a not close game, because it takes forever when it's close in our current UI.
Oh, tomorrow I'll come in and get stomped.
You come in and get stomped?
Yeah.
How generous.
Yeah. I have no problem losing for science.
Losing for science.
entertainment.
Well, what you should do,
For
what
science.
you should do is win for the crowd.
Win for the-
because if you win, the crowd will love you,
Yes,
Landon.
this is like the Gladiator movie.
Oh, they already love me.
Sushi for everyone. That may not work that way.
Hand delivered. That'll
Hand
be great
delivered.
for economics.
Really? I don't know. When it's raw fish, I don't know if I want people to hand deliver it.
So one aspect that I recall from playing Magic is drafting. Are you guys going to have a mode like that?
Yeah, I think so. Why not, right? I mean, first of all, the game is designed so that drafting is easy and possible because our booster packs are built that way. And second of all, it's totally fun. One thing I should say is that our game has colorless resources, so you can build as many colors as you want to a deck. So it's actually even easier to do things like drafting because you technically can use all the cards together if you wanted to. It's probably not going to be a great deck if you have one single creature in your deck that's red and a couple of red spells, because that's the only creature that's going to be able to use those spells. But, you know, I mean, that's why you have to draft well, obviously. Yeah, good question. Anyway, so we did a podcast with you guys 10 days ago or something like that. And I'm sure that's on your website. Have you had other podcasts since then?
Yeah, we recorded 2 today, one yesterday.
Oh, man,
we're
you guys are busy.
recording 2 or 3 a week, and that's just with developers, and we do other stuff on top of that.
Are there any other card games that we need to be aware of that are coming out soon that you can give us a lowdown on?
Maybe you heard of Hex.
I think so. Isn't that something along the card game lines?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, we actually back Hex, and I'm sure we'll play it.
Yeah, it's interesting just how big card gaming is coming up. The digital atmosphere has just changed so much in terms of the capabilities for players, casual or more hardcore players, to get together and get into this. For me, it's always been this kind of holding back because I don't want to have an entire stack of cards that stay in my closet and never come out because I don't know anybody that I can play with. And so what you guys are doing are just opening up doors.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I think that people caught on, basically, to the fact that there was a huge gap in the industry for card games, online card games, that is, which, you know, for somebody that realized that 7 years ago, it's frustrating that all the big players are coming in now when we're launching our project. But yeah, I mean, there is a big gap, and it's great that it's being validated because it's just good for us. There's going to be a lot more great games out there. But there were a few years there where it was like literally, as a card game player who loves card games, there was like no card game online to play that was any good, which was really surprising.
The number of colors that you have, I mean, I know that you have so many cards. Have you revealed how many cards you've designed, all the decks and colors? You have 12 colors, and then the number of cards for everything is crazy.
On the number of cards per color that will be in the launch set of 300 cards is 28 cards per color. I don't think that's subject to change. I have to look at the list again. It doesn't add up to 300 exactly because there's a bunch of cards that are dual colored that count as both. So like Goblin is yellow and black, so we'll count as yellow and as black.
And then over the course of the months, will there be new ones kind of issued in?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, people are actually asking in chat about stuff like that. Like, will cards be like every half, and will be kind of release sets, and will we rotate cards out, and like what about things like power creep, and will you rebalance
very, very
cards?
important questions. Look, this is a 7-year design process, and we have designed about 4,000 cards. And you might say, why would you design 4,000 cards? Well, there's several reasons. One of the reasons is to explore the horizontal space of design so that you can be sure that the cards that you're going to introduce into the system later on have been considered in terms of the cards that are already in the system. So you're not introducing power creep into the system. That's kind of the only way to do it, honestly. Otherwise, you're in a position where you have to innovate in order to create something new, and it has to be interesting for players, and you're kind of screwed in the power creep unless you're very skilled. So we've created that huge sort of space of cards also by having a very open-ended game with very few rigid rules. There's a 24 card deck in Chromancer, but there's no deck limits on cards. You can have any number of copies you want of any card in there. And again, there's colorless resources, so you can combine anything you want. So you can imagine the realm of different cards we have. On release, we will have the 28 cards per color, and there's fields as well and some colorless things. But we'll regularly have expansions, and then as an online card game, one of the real advantages that online card games have over physical card games is that you can release singular cards very easily. You can release, on Friday the 13th, the scary card, that comes out to celebrate the day or celebrate some other holiday, or maybe you create a card for some big tournament that you run every week. You can introduce those things regularly into the system so players can keep up on collecting. And the important thing is just that you distribute those in such a way that they retain their value and are tradable in a compelling manner.
Does that sound like there's going to be like temporary cards for holidays or events?
We haven't really thought much about temporary cards, and that's a really good question. We have, I'm sort of 50-50 on that. I mean, I think there's advantages and disadvantages, but we're not really that into temporary cards as a concept. Our cards are treated like physical goods. There's a singular copy of each thing that you own. It has a serial number. At any point, you'll be able to click on a card and get its extensive, comprehensive trading history. You'll know every person that's owned it and how it's changed hands and why and when. And every card is part of a digital print run that only happens once. So we're not pressing some button on a printer to print a whole bunch of new cards. We think that we'll retain value in the collections of players that way. And that's not something that we're doing to the detriment of the game mechanics. Let's be clear about that. A lot of people have said if you have limited card prints, doesn't that mean that you're just going to make a whole bunch of stuff really rare and it's going to suck if I'm a player because merchants are going to sell me the card for $1 million? Well, we'll have later editions of the same card with the same mechanics. It'll just be a later edition which might have different card art, might have different card design. And so you'll still be able to use those cards to play the game, but the merchant and the collector will also still be able to collect the original edition and have the value of his investment girded. And that's very important because...
George,
yeah.
I need to interrupt you and say that...
a bank has gone down?
No, we're going to call this game, I think, because I don't think that the action window is currently built to handle hop-ins. So right now, I just tried to pause and unpause the game as you, and now it's permanently paused as me.
I unpaused it just now.
Well, I mean, unless you and I both want to play, I don't know how we're going to handle this. So I think it's better to just call the game since Tarot King was winning anyway.
Okay, well, if you like, that's fine. I can refresh it and see if that fixes it. But congrats to Tarot King. He looks like he's kicking your butt.
He most certainly is, yeah. Tsunami's pretty good, it turns out.
We should have invited him in on the call. We can still do that.
Maybe we should have, yeah.
What else should we have done?
I could have gone for a bigger breakfast this morning. Yeah.
Oh my god!
So,
It's time. It's time for some giveaways, and
Is it time
Landon,
for some giveaways?
I just interrupted, but just so
What?
everyone knows, I'll be
need to
typing
get-
out some details for the giveaway in just a second.
Right.
You need to give away at least one promo card for Destroyed Bank.
That's
so.
right. Yeah. actually, we do need to run some giveaways. I'm droning on and on about these questions. And anyway, one thing that I just wanted to mention quickly is that we have something very cool in our system called artifacts, which are cards that exist only once in the entire game. So like there's an Excalibur. There's a singular Excalibur. And you'll be able to trace on a certain part of the website where all the artifacts currently are, who holds them, and those people who currently hold an artifact are going to be compelled to fight in a whole bunch of ranked matches during the day where they risk the artifact. So people will be constantly trying to take them from each other, and it'll be a big contest to see who can hold on to the artifact longer than anyone else, and so forth. And there'll be leaderboards for that. Who can win the most matches with each one. When you have an artifact, you will unlock, some forum badge that says that you were once the holder of this artifact. And of course, they're very, very powerful. So it's hard to beat a person with them because it's a singular item in a deck for sure, but it's super, super powerful. So those are just really fun community tools that we'll have. And that's a little bit like what you were talking about, temporary cards, because those are things you can't really own.
That's really cool.
Yeah, no, we're really looking forward to that kind of thing. Yeah.
So wait, just to be clear, did Tarot King win that game? Because in that case, we gotta give prizes to the crowd.
I think we should give prizes to the crowd, and I think we should give prizes to Tarot King for winning. Actually, we should do the same thing for Seafeed for his.
Well, I already noted that, but let's do this again. And so I will type what you need to type in chat just to be eligible.
Okay. Let's give Tarot King a package of stuff like we did yesterday for victory.
Yeah, and same to
Seafeed. Yeah. What was it, like a couple of boosters and a couple of promo cards? 3 boosters and 2 promo cards and some chroma? Am I getting that right?
It was like a 3-2-1-4. That's how I remember it.
A 3-2-1 format?
Yeah, 3-2-1 and 200 chroma. It was three boosters, 2 promos, 1 subscription, and 200 chroma.
Oh, a month of membership too. Okay, great. That's a pretty good package.
Oh.
So it's a good package. That's what you get for winning.
Pete, what are you doing losing to all these players? I mean, I thought you were really good. I mean, you kick my butt every time.
I could ask you the same question, couldn't I, George?
Well, no, because if you were to ask me that you thought I was really good, I would know you were lying because you beat me all the time.
I beat you when your attention is divided, that's all.
Right. In any event.
So you were talking about kind of like the physicality of these cards and tracking who owns them. That's extremely interesting to me, just like all the data that you're going to have about the cards and the decks and the players and everything involved. Like what you're planning, could you go into more depth and detail about some of those concepts?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the future of gaming. I mean, online currency is going to become interchangeable with real currency. And, I mean, anybody on the team can tell you about this. And by the way, feel free to jump in and interrupt me if you guys have a point that I'm not making. But, I mean, this is the way of the future. And so we're just not waiting for the future to get here. I mean, we figure that, we're not quite Diablo 3, where you can take money back out of the system through PayPal. And we don't want to be that just yet because it's not strictly legal in a lot of places. But that is the way of the future. I mean, people's time spent in games is valuable time because the fact is that they're creating something in the context of that game that other people value because they can trade those things. So that actually now is valued time. It's not just a waste of your time. So why, as a gaming company, would we not be in a position to try to allow the player basically the ability to create whatever the investment is of that time, to own something that will maintain its value. It's in our interest to let the player have something that maintains its value because that's going to make the player more loyal to our game. It's going to make the player want to keep playing our game. So that's, and also it just serves the need of the player better. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just cycling through some images of where we're going with this stuff too. Because it looks like that game with Tarot King ended.
Burning Light says Chromancer sponsored board games do this down the line. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm always intrigued when people want us to do stuff. So, so explain.
Chromancer sponsored board games. It just means that there are a lot of board games out there, which and I'm just showing you guys our website in the meantime. There are a lot of board games out there which like Monopoly and so forth, that have like flavors based on a popular product, like Harry Potter or whatever. We could, have our Chromancer world influence board games that way. I'm assuming that's what that means.
Well,
some Chromancer miniatures.
Milo's clamoring for trivia. How about this, Landon? Since you're our guest speaker, why don't you give us a little trivia question that you think our viewers will be able to latch onto?
I'll give Landon a second to think about it, because I just want to say one thing, which is that you'll see up here on the screen this Burning Blood card. This Burning Blood card, this card art, we had on a big banner when we were at our conventions. And you can actually check our Facebook page. There was a girl who took a photo next to it, which was really funny. We had somebody come by who designs cosplay costumes, who told us he wants to design this into a cosplay costume. So you were telling us about like miniatures and stuff like that. We actually have somebody who wants to have somebody dress this way at the next convention, which to us was very cool. We were very honored by that concept.
I'm struggling for a trivia question.
Well, we could
I'm
go
sure
with
George-
something.
which
We
ones
could
you've
go
already
with
asked
something
tonight.
related to attention paying, like name the podcast that Landon
Little
writes
self-promotion. There was a podcast that the guys from Chromancer did in the past week with a certain website that may be speaking right now.
It may or may not be.
Might be able to
yours.
find it here.
Right.
I don't know how you randomly judge. Is it you just take everybody that said the name and draw from a hat?
Well, no. Typically it was first to answer or first to. Today we've been doing first two to answer.
Right.
First two.
We should say to everybody that when you get this stuff, this free stuff, we will unlock that on your account even before you can use it, because obviously most of it you can only use once we launch. But when you log in on our website, right here, up in the top right hand side, where it says logged in as George, it will say logged in as your username, and you will see these things that I'm hovering over right now are little prizes that are unlocked. You can hover over them to get a description of what they are and how many you have and so forth. So you will already be able to see them.
Yeah, we just have the promo cards and packs up right now. We need to fix that and put
Chroma
other
and
things
other
there.
things on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good stuff here too. You'll see that there's actually playtest signups that happen on our webpage as well. There's this article right here that covers that. Our next playtest we'll announce shortly, I think. We usually do them on the weekend, so we'll probably have another one next weekend. So guys, please sign up for that. Again, check the workshop right here to see all of our game art. This is an art tournament down here where you can vote on your favorite art in the game, and actually your favorite art in the game through your voting is going to end up featured on our booster packs when we launch the game, so you can help us decide that. Here's the lore section, this article where you can read a short story here about, and eventually short stories about our game world. It's really pretty awesome. I mean, you need to check this out. It's just a few pages long. It's totally worth your time.
Hey George,
Yes.
we have a quick question from Tarot King,
Mm-hmm.
our recent champion of the arena.
Yes.
And question is about how many cards are in the basic pack. It's a booster pack, and will higher tier packs, if such a thing exists, have more cards or higher rarities or something like that?
No, we have we have booster packs, which are booster packs. We have starter decks, which are starter decks, and that's what we have. We may have some random other packs later on or something, but they're not going to be random packs later on that are going to have different rarities. They're just going to be random packs later on that contain different expansions or something like that. The rarities are pretty simple. It's common, uncommon, rare, and there's heroes. The ratio between those things is that an uncommon is 2.5 times rarer than a common, and a rare is 2.5 times rarer than an uncommon. That's pretty much how it works. And because we distribute the game strictly through these digital print runs and through booster packs that are fixed in the way that they're built, we control those rarities. So it's a true rarity. If you have a rare card, it truly is 2.5 times rarer across the entire system than any uncommon card. And that's another way of helping to gird the investment of players, because you don't want a situation where 10 people will open the same rare by some luck in a pack that's generated online, and that screws up the economy a little bit for a day or two, especially if it's new. Booster packs have 7 cards in them, but they do not have any fields in them, which you will more or less be able to use for free. Those are your income cards. So it's a good deal of 7 cards, a good little set, and I think that the rarity works out to you usually get a rare card. I think most of the time, maybe 80% of the time. Some of the time you get 2. It's totally random. Everything in our game is completely and utterly random when it comes to distribution of things like rarities of cards through packs and so forth.
There's a question from, actually I lost it in the chat, but it was about the Kickstarter cards and how they're going to be distributed possibly later to everybody.
I got it here. Let me read it so we get it right. This is from FetWitch2.
Mm-hmm.
Was reading the Kickstarter, and if you hit 66K plus, you'll hand out Kickstarter only cards. It says they won't be released in the initial 300 card set. Will they possibly be released in future sets? And if not, are they going to be PvE cards only?
Interesting. Well, look, those cards that are contemplated to be those cards that we give out at those reward levels are cards that we've designed in terms of what the card mechanics are. So, if we don't release them as promo cards, then I'm sure sooner or later those same mechanics and possibly the same card will be released in some context, maybe in an expansion. The reason it's better to get it as a promo card, obviously, on the Kickstarter, is that that's a limited edition promo card that will give you that card ahead of everyone else, and you'll be one of the few people who actually has a promo copy of it. We don't have specific plans on releasing those things, though, because they're not part of our initial launch set. So, yeah, probably they'll eventually be released, but that's true of every stretch goal. I mean, everything that we say that we'll give you immediately as a stretch goal, like guilds, well, we will obviously do that eventually if we don't make the stretch goal. So, stretch goals are basically a way of making the game better faster in some cases, but then also having you start out with a lot of stuff that will give you a nice little advantage when you start playing the game. We hope. I mean, we want our backers to have an advantage. So I hope that answers the question.
I think it did answer the question. Some people were asking about PvE versus PvP, and I will say, because we did have Per, our writer, up on the call on the chat, yesterday and the day before. I mean, we're very much hoping, and that was in the stretch goals, to be able to introduce kind of PvE campaigns over the course of the game. Obviously, that's not a focus for us in our kind of core game that we want to release as soon as possible. But people do tend to like playing PvE every now and then. Some people like to be introduced to the game in a single player type mode without the pressure of competing with other people. So and because we also have a big focus on the lore and the fantasy narrative behind the game, that's a good way to kind of integrate some of those things. So. Again, it's not going to be like a huge focus for us. I mean, we're not trying to be another Hex in terms of, this is an MMO and like you're going to be grinding away PvE campaigns right and left. But, we do want to have something like that as kind of a side for people to be able to play around with on their own time.
Right. I think that's right on. In many ways, it's what our players want. I mean, we want to be communicative with people, and we want them to tell us, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Because we're players ourselves, and if something's cool, why wouldn't we implement it?
Hey, we just got an increase.
Okay, let's do a couple of giveaways, and I think we're probably going to wrap this up
Should be.
pretty soon. So if you guys have any other questions that you want to type into the chat, please do so. We'll stay online for a while, even after we go offline in terms of off the air, so we can stay in the chat to answer your questions. But tune in again tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be running most of the night. We will have a lot of other stuff. Because it's our final push, we'll have new stuff for you to look at, and etc. And more people on the call, and we'll be giving away more stuff. And Landon, thanks for being here, man.
No, if I can jump in tomorrow, I'd like to get wasted in Chromancer because that will most likely happen.
Are you going to get wasted
that will
before
most
you
definitely
play?
happen.
I should probably actually physically get wasted and then actually do it.
That might
It
enhance the
may
process.
give me an edge.
It'll give you an edge. Debatable. Debatable. I don't know. Maybe.
Let's get those giveaways.
Yeah. What's going on,
I
JP?
love them.
I'm rolling over here, rolling like a madman. All right, so
You're
first
rolling the
guy to
dice?
win is Drake. Yeah, Drake 14 or Drake Civ. I really get confused with these names, but Drake.
I think that's Drake.
you
14.
get the booster pack. the first
Congrats,
one.
man.
Drake XIV. And do we want a last trivia question just to like cap it off? And I guess
That
if
sounds
it's
good.
a challenging one, we could make it be a 1 month subscription. How about that? Just to feel like they earned it.
Sure.
Oh, and that's not all, but we just got another backer.
You got. I love when this thing happens. That's excellent. Excellent.
Now's a good time to back everybody.
Now it's a good time to back. Now it's an excellent time to back. In fact, I almost feel like
Yes.
Feels like falling off the call, I guess.
Yeah, I think he feels like falling off the call. I almost feel like, and then silence. I wonder if he went to the cave of
am I not
back.
being heard?
Were you in the
now
castle
you
of
are.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened, guys. Sorry. Yes, it was the castle of
Here's an article on our website, by the way, if you guys are interested, that talk about all 12 colors in the game and how unique they are and what they do and so forth, if you're interested.
Well, what we're interested in is a trivia question, George, I believe.
Oh, you want me to ask a trivia question?
Yeah, I mean, you are the master of trivia, so I think
I am a pretty
I think
trivial
a trivia
guy.
question, and what shall we say? The first two people get two goodies.
Sure. Here's the trivia question for you. Type it into the Twitch chat. First two people to get it right win something. Name the second highest tier on our Kickstarter page.
And I guess we're talking the name of it.
Yeah, it's the something pack. Cool. Well, Landon, are you off to have dinner plans or what?
Yes. I held off on eating dinner so that I could join you guys,
Great.
and I'll do the same tomorrow.
You're planning on having a
Awesome.
very slowly served hamburger?
Yes, exactly.
Actually, the reason you haven't had a hamburger since last we met was because you ordered it right after we met from that restaurant.
Yep.
You haven't gotten
I'm
back
still
to
waiting for it to show
it.
up.
Yeah, it seems appropriate.
What time tomorrow are you guys starting to stream?
Well, we'll be here at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. But I think we'll just
Eastern.
let it roll
8 p.m.
until
Eastern.
whenever.
Yeah, we'll let it roll for a while.
I'm gonna bring a 6-pack of beers just to keep the fuel going.
Yeah.
A 6-pack of beers. Interesting. Another foreignism.
Well,
There was
I don't know.
people calling out some answers for the giveaway.
Yeah, I think our first two respondents are the Nude Nub and X Master 8621. No, am I mistaken?
We got another increase.
Well, people are just being annoying at this point.
Oh, that's annoying to you.
That's annoying to you. All right, I wave my magic wand, and the Nude Nub and X Master win 200 chroma.
Great.
That's That's what they
So
want.
they got it. It was the Lord of the Arcanum.
It was the Lord of the Arcanum pack. So Milo, in typical fashion, is clamoring for more trivia because it means he has an outsized chance of winning. But
I've got a trivia question.
Oh, nice. That's the best way to cap this.
Guest trivia.
What is the name of the fantasy writer on Chromancer?
Oh, that is a good question.
Do you want full name, or first name?
Yeah, full name. Should be pretty easy to find.
Okay. Should be.
It should be pretty. It should be.
Drake, that's good. I almost want to give it to
What did he say?
Pear baby. Don't call me Eddie baby. Okay. Looks like Katakasa was the first one with the full name.
Pear No Sheds Timlin.
Pear Two Hammer Timlin. All right.
Is Pear Baby appropriate for him? Like,
It's,
is this an inside joke that I don't know?
well, have you ever seen the arts sketch by Monty Python? I think it
Yes.
was yeah. Well, it's the one where who was it in the Sir Edward Ross? I think it's that John Cleese is interviewing Graham in this kind of, well, it's an interview, and he starts calling him very familiar names, I believe, like Eddie baby. Sweet cakes.
All right.
Guys, I hate to interrupt this, but we had an actual smart question in
Oh,
the chat.
Sorry.
What was the smart question?
From Burning Light. I imagine for first gen you will over-release for your expected player base, but in expansions, in comparison to the player base, how many instances of cards do you plan to print? Oh, and then he asked it again, but now you can stop asking because I've asked your
How
question.
many
for you.
instances of the question do you plan to ask? No, I'm kidding. That is a very good question. And the correct answer to that question is that, and it's really just a matter of being honest. The correct answer to that question is that we have to do more research on the industry in order to understand what the best answer to that question is. Because it has to do, obviously, with the number of players in our system and sort of what the standard number of cards is that are distributed in physical card games such that they remain collectible. But I mean, that issue is going to be related also to the type of player we have, and if people are more bought in, and how many people have big collections and so forth. Suffice it to say that we are keen on the fact that we will be able to re-release quickly newer editions that have the same cards and the same card mechanics. So we probably won't be in a position where we're over-releasing. But, I mean, one thing that I hate, just personally, it's just my personal view, is I hate games that are over releasing things in the sense of, not over releasing in the sense of the release is too big, but releasing too many things too often. Because it's impossible to keep up with that. And people who like to collect the game actually end up really hating that. It feels like every week you have to get something new, like they're trying to force you to pay. So I think that we'll be somewhere in the middle ground. I think that maybe the best way to answer the question is we'll have enough cards in the expansions to cover the player base such that we're only releasing expansions at the most rapid every few months, and definitely not more rapidly than that. I actually think that that's probably a faster pace than we'll go at. So I hope that's a helpful answer. I hope that what's apparent in the answer is that we care about the answer and that we don't have the answer 100%. So we have to figure that out, and we'll think about it a lot before we decide. If you guys want to speak to that, I mean, you're just as much experts as I am on this.
No, I'm just going to say that we got another increase.
Oh, okay. Well, that must have been a good answer. No, I'm kidding.
That was an excellent answer, and it's nice. Oh well, I have to give a shout out because I recognize the name. Just gonna give a shout out to Press 2 Reset. Those are some other cool guys that we talked to during PAX, and you should also check their site because they're cool, and they're also responsible directly for you guys getting another giveaway. So give Press 2 Reset a little bit of love when you have
number 2 reset.
Yeah, exactly.
everything else spelled out. Let's see what other interesting articles we have here at our site. This is a Facebook Art Showdown, which I particularly enjoy. You actually go on Facebook in order to vote, and we have different pieces of art that you choose between in order to decide which of these things is going to be featured on our booster packs when we release. Let's click on the city here. I love this piece of art. This one actually has gotten to the, has beaten Namorid and has gotten to, is it the finals already?
Well, no, let's see.
Am I?
Balrog is in the finals.
Oh, this is going on right now. It hasn't beaten Namorid.
This is going on right now, but I think it's in a solid lead. I think City is definitely beating down on Namorid.
Oh, really?
For some reason, people like I think Namorid is great, but for some reason, people don't find it quite as great
Well,
as
it got to the second
City.
round. I mean, it already
that's true.
beat a different card, Ice Beam, I believe. Anyway,
What was
okay,
your
guys. Well,
previous winner from the previous round?
Pardon?
You've been doing these ladder matches with the cards. What was the previous winner?
This is the first one, actually. This is the inaugural.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're in round 6, but each one lasts a few days. But yeah, we just started this whole process a couple weeks ago only. So we've got a little window here on our site down here where you can...
That's a really cool way to engage everybody.
Well, people like our art for good reason, you know? I mean, it's good art. So, yeah.
Okay, and that actually is going to be the trivia question. So first two people to get this. Okay, I'm going to announce it in the. I'm going to just announce it. I'm not going to type anything. So, what was the loser in round 1 of the artwork competition? First two people to get it. Get
rub
the
it
prize.
in.
Jeez.
So the
Somebody
loser,
had a favorite.
the loser of round 1 of the artwork competition, also an iconic piece, also has been in many decks that people have played with recently.
Indeed.
Oh my God, Milo!
And it's on one of
So
our
this is
banners.
this is the problem with having having trivia, is that Milo is just his hands are just deep into the game, and he knows everything. Milo, I mean, you win again. I mean,
We could just
It looked
ban
like the
him.
Wizard Cat got in first, though.
was it? I have let's see. I have my Wizard Cat. Okay, Wizard Cat and Milo
those
both
guys are
win.
both fast.
Yeah, they're
Wizard
very
Cat wins
fast.
a lot too. Yeah,
Wizard
maybe
Cat and
maybe we should have a roll for the next trivia. If
We
there's
should.
a next trivia, maybe there should be a next trivia.
Maybe there should be an
yeah.
extra-
I mean, I think that we should, unless there are other questions for us to answer, and I'd love to thank Landon for being here, who probably needs to get to dinner. But we've been on for 2 hours, so if there are other questions, please ask them now. We'd be happy to try to answer them. But I think we'll probably call it. And other than that, see you guys, and maybe do one last giveaway.
Yeah, unless someone backs right now, then we'd have to do another giveaway. Then if someone
Keep
backs,
this going all
we're-
night long.
The cycle of positive association. Okay, yeah, we could do a final one. But although I have used up all of my trivia list of questions here, so that means that somebody needs to give me some inspiration.
You
I'll
want
put
me
it- I'll put it
to
as a-
create a trivia question? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just any question, any Chromancer related question. I'll type up the answer,
Okay.
or just type it in Skype so not everyone sees it before I put it
No,
in.
I'll just. You want me to just say it through the thing here?
All right, say it through the thing here.
Well, no, I have to think of something.
Oh man, well Landon,
Here's a
if
tough.
you're still on with us.
Here's a tough
Oh.
trivia question. It's a very, very
Okay.
tough trivia question. But wait, don't we want to just do a raffle? Or did you already do that?
Well, no, it's not. I mean, it's people will type in the answer and and then we'll just randomly select people.
Okay, all right. Here's what you have to do. You have to go to our website. You have to go here to the front page. Click into the lore of Prisme, because I want you guys to read this story. It's so good. Get to the story right here by Pear. And if you just read in this story, tell me what the name of the town in which the story is set is. Or you could just wait and chat until somebody else types it.
Exactly.
Of course, somebody could type fake names to throw you off.
That's true.
That would be very tricky.
I'm actually searching for it myself.
It's
I found it right away.
I'll give
I
you
got
a clue, which is that it's an homage to Final Fantasy.
it. Ooh.
Final Fantasy 3 or 5, as it's more properly called, or 6. Sorry, not 5. 6.
There's a string of people who have found the answer.
And one
I'm trying
person,
to-
and then a lot of other
throw them
people.
off.
Yeah, right. Totally honest.
All right. Well, we're rolling a random roll, and it's the last one,
Yeah.
so it's a 1 month subscription.
We do have more backers.
Just roll a few
This is-
times. Just roll a few
Okay,
times.
I'll roll a few times. All right.